ToyLeet Assembly. Step up and see flash, it's the ToyLeet crew. We're the kings of the game, yeah, the chosen few. From the shadows we rise with the rarest finds. Collect them, respect them, we're one of a kind. ToyLeet, ready the streets, elite with the feats in this collectible feast. ToyLeet, down in the street, when the heart of the beat, we're all playmates me. Check our stacks, our collection supreme. Limited editions, every collector's dream. We're the myths, we're the legends, with every drop taking over the block, we never stop. In the alleys where the echoes play, ToyLeet's the name, hear what we say. Rising, thriving, always thriving. In our realm we're always dropping. ToyLeet, bring the street, the live ToyLeet, setting the pace. With the snap of the case and a click of the lock, ToyLeet's on top and we're ready to rock. Collecting more than just toys, we're up. We're up. We're up. ToyLeet, never the street, when the heart of the beat, we're all playmates me. We're the tree, we're the ToyLeet, what's the flow? Cause in this zone, we never admit defeat. Come for the thrill, stay for the chase. ToyLeet's in the place, set in the pace.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Good. My camera looks blurry, but that could just be my eyeballs.
Mine or you? You're a little blurry.
What's that?
You're a little blurry from what I'm seeing on my side.
All right,
I think you adjusted it and it just fixed it a little bit.
That's way too bright.
Okay.
There
I'm just updating my internet to make sure that I have priority to this device, as sometimes my network acts a little funny. So just give myself some prioritization here, and we should be good. Cool. Man, how's everything going with you, dude? I know we're kicking off a few minutes late here. Sounds like somebody might have been a little busy, like myself.
Been crazy busy, dude. Been so busy, I don't know what to do anymore. Jesus.
Good.
It's okay. Keeps me out of trouble.
Man. It happens. I know we got a few folks in the chat. We'll get into them. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Like yourself, very busy. Just trying to keep up the consistency here and make sure we continue to, bring forward the ToyLeet Takeover every Tuesday night to the best of our ability. And,
that's right.
Talk news. Lots of news this week. For those that don't know, he's at Akxion Figs.
And over there, that's the Mr. Wonderful, a.k.a. Travis, the one and only.
Awesome. And together we're this group. It's the New World. No, it's Degenerate. No, no, that's not it. Hello.
It's
no,
the TTO.
What is it?
The TTO.
TTO. ToyLeet Takeover.
ToyLeet Takeover.
Yes, it is. So you guys might know us. You've been around for a while. We've been doing this for 26 episodes at this point.
Is it really that many? Jesus.
Yeah. It's like 6 months basically. When you figure that out, it's spread over a course of a little bit longer, just because we've had some weeks where we've taken off, but for the most part, it's been 6 months or so, 26 weeks of this, of talking plastic. It's what we enjoy. It's a passion of ours. We get together every week. We like to talk about some of the upcoming news, upcoming releases from independent toy lines, because everyone out there, as we know, you've got Unboxing Art, a Punk with Toys. On Monday nights, he rambles for like 16 hours. And then he, gets to a topic at some point, which we his topic, varies from week to week, similar to ours. But he talks about mainstream, action figures, the stuff that you can find in retail stores most of the time. Whereas what we like to focus on is more of the independent toys. It's in the community. A lot of these folks have started out in our community before they even became, a larger, entity as they are today, producing toys. Additionally, we'll talk about toy adjacent We also like to shout out someone from the community that's doing some cool things. Maybe they've got a project going on. Maybe they're just got a new stream, or they had a really cool episode of their current streams, or maybe they're doing some really good photography, which we'll talk about some photography here in a second. And then we shout those folks out. We talk about toys that we would put on our shelf or put down the toilet in our ToyLeet or Toilet segment. And then we always go back to the main topic, which this week we'll be talking a little bit about collector types, the folks that smother their plastic and leave it in a box, and those that let it breathe, as I like to say.
It'd be interesting to know, talking about the guys that started out in the community and now have their own toy companies, what kind of collectors they were. That would be interesting.
Oh, that would be interesting. Are they more inbox collectors, or are they let it breathe guys? Yeah. So first, before we go to the chat, I do want to talk about something that came to light. Technology. I love it, right? AI, smart devices, I got them all around me. Our devices are always listening to us. So my devices must have been listening in really close to ToyLeet Takeover last week, because believe it or not, on that ToyLeet Takeover, you'll see this icon that's up on the screen over to, above Ed's head there, where it says Toyvember. And that's our action figures photography, event we're going to be doing in the month of November. First and foremost, that's not going to change with the news that I'm about to bring forward. So if you haven't heard about that, I'll talk about it again in a little bit. But check it out. Go to our Instagram, pre-register, and get some extra points towards the opportunity to win prizes in the month of November. But that said, before I cover that in more detail later, this idea came to me because of something called Inktober, which is an artist's drawing thing that they do every October. They've been doing it for years. It's an annual event that someone does. I don't know the originator of it, but they do it to challenge artists to continue to expand their creativity, and give them a daily prompt of what they're supposed to draw. It's supposed to pull them out of their comfort zone, get them to challenge with doing things that are a little different than what they may do in their day-to-day artistic ventures. I saw that concept and knew it was something that I thought was cool from an artist, but again, I suck with a pen and paper. I'm not really good with that. I leverage technology. Something I've recently started toying around with was action figure photography, which, for those that followed last week, we had John from Emerald Knight Photography on, and he came in, he taught us about how he got into things and how you can advance your skills and what you can do. And then we announced this Toyvember thing. Like I said, technology is always listening, because the next day, scrolling through Instagram, I had some referred or maybe suggested subscription, to subscribe to or follow someone on Instagram, and this person was posting their daily prompts for action figures photography. Thing they do in October, it's like I think it's October is how it's out, and it's a thing that they do every day for the 31 days in October. It's a great idea. Such a good idea that I came up with the same idea for November, which would be Toyvember. That said, it was obviously in place before I had done mine. After I found this out, I started doing more research, and this October, whatever it is, has been going on since I want to say 2018 or so. So obviously, my idea is not original. I will say I never claimed it was original, from the sense that I did take the concept and idea from Inktober, which is pen and paper artistic approach. But I did not find that the ACBA or whatever is the action figure or whatever photography has been doing something. And it's a great segue into Toyvember, because Toyvember, you get an opportunity to win prizes, because it's got sponsored prizes that we're going to be doing, at the end of the event. So use this month in October, take part in October or Octovember, whatever they're calling it. Use it as a development tool. Use it as an opportunity to craft your skills and better yourself for November when we do Toyvember, because Toyvember is still happening. And just think of October as like the feeder system, the development. It's the NXT of our WWE.
That's right.
It's the starting point. So, it is what it is. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Matt here, ACBA, they did October. I didn't know it was a thing. Obviously, they're not on my radar, and that's not me trying to pick on them or cause controversy. I just don't follow that, and I didn't pick up on it. But Toyvember is still happening, so please, subscribe, sign up, pre-register for the month of November's event. I can assure you it is going to be a great event, and regardless of how many people sign up, there's a chance to win prizes. But we ask that you continue to try to spread the word, because I want this to be an annual thing, and let's be honest, let's beat October and make Toyvember way better. But again, that's where I am. Ed, I don't know if you want to hit the chat up after my little disclaimer there, because I know there's a bunch of chat going on before we go into the next piece.
Yeah, we hit the chat up real quick. But one thing, since we can't post live links on Instagram, they don't let you do that unless it's in the story. If you want to join Toyvember, just shoot us a DM in the ToyLeet, and we will send you the link to sign up. Or if anybody else wants it, you can forward it on to them. So Roll Keeper is first today, like it should be, as it should be.
Dude?
Let's go. And my buddy Aaron Payne's Toy Samples here.
I owe him some stuff.
And we were late.
I didn't get that stuff to him.
He got it.
He got it. Oh, he got it.
Out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I got a message from him. He got it all figured out. Appreciate that, Aaron. And Nolan, we are so toy official now. It's not even funny because he said hi, Ed, Travis, and the chat.
It's a chat.
A new name I haven't seen before. Emanon, I'm gonna guess.
Emanon.
We're not sure how to say your name, but welcome. Ahoy. Thank you for stopping by.
No, it's No Name backwards. That's his name. It's No Name.
Oh, No Name.
It's No Name backwards.
Good thing you figured that out.
Yeah.
And
hey, what's up, No Name?
Fat Tread Foo says Buenos Nachos. Good nachos to you too. Yeah, I know, right? Nachos sound really good. Speaking of that, Payne says he'll be shipping out my custom fig tomorrow. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see that.
Is that what we refer to as one day business, next day shipping? Kind of like over at Hello Toys if you want to get your
next
figs?
business day. Business day. And the Briscoe's here. What's up, Briscoe?
What's up, man?
We saw that Matthew was here. What's up, Matthew? And I should have asked you because we know you know everything. So
should have went to the man, the myth.
Yep. Should have went to the library, the walk-in library before we do anything. Got to refer to him from now on. And Ted Darklaw, hello, friends. Ed, I like the hat. Yes, thank you, Ted.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's all right. It's actually, I was surprised. I don't usually find baseball hats that fit my gigantic noggin that I have that are comfortable, and this one's pretty damn good. So I was pretty excited.
Good deal.
And Joe G's in the house. What's up, Joe? And I believe one more. Lunchbox Killer. What's up?
What's up, man? Thanks for
jumping
in.
It for the chat.
Appreciate the sub. Awesome. Cool. So Ed, I got believe it or not, I celebrated my 40th birthday on Friday last week, so I am an old man now.
That was last week? I thought that was this Friday.
No, it was this past Friday, 10-4, buddy.
Well, happy birthday, dude. I was already to say happy birthday this week.
Yeah, so no, that was on Friday. It's funny when you turn 40, it's like the first year I didn't get a ton of toys for my birthday. I did get, I've got permission to take my son and my wife, they figured it out, but we're going to be taking my youngest son and my oldest son. We're all going to take a trip, the three boys, potentially my nephew and my brother-in-law, take the boys and stuff and go out to Indianapolis in February for Royal Rumble. So I'll be buying tickets here in about a month. So we'll be going to Royal Rumble next year. And we're also going to be hitting up SummerSlam next summer, which is a 2-day event in MetLife Stadium. So that is kind of like my big plan next year to hit those pay-per-views with the kids. And then what we're going to be doing is buying those tickets in November. So I'll give you guys an update on how good of seats I have. But my birthday, it was like the first year that I didn't get a crap ton of toys. And I got like a memory foam pillow. I love it. It's a great, very comfortable thing. But I was like, man, I didn't get as many toys as I'm used to. But I did get that. And I did get one toy, which this was the only pickup that I got that was like an action figure toy this week.
Oh, nice.
And I did get this this very handsome, cool, crafty little plunderling to go with my plunderling figures. I have not opened it yet. Might be on a sink or swim shelf or
Which
toilet.
One is that?
This one is Captain Teal.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So I didn't think I had him. I really hope I don't. If I do, I'm just gonna mess with it and customize it. I'm pretty sure I don't have this one. I sent my wife some links. She was asking for ideas for my birthday. I did send her a link to the G.I. Joe Stinger, I think is what it was, from Hello Toys. I didn't see it ship. I know they next day ship things, so I'm assuming my wife didn't get that for me. but I did get this Plunderling, and believe it or not, that other site that hosts, has these things has a special deal going on today. And I did pick up 3 Plunder Longs to go with my collection because I don't have any of those. So I did get those, but I haven't ordered. They haven't arrived. I just placed the order today. So that's all I got for plastic toys and stuff this week, man. I got some comics coming into the local comic book shop for the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom here in the next couple weeks. They're supposed to give me an update, but generally speaking, I didn't get much else. How about yourself, man?
Well, I got one of these Super Action stuffs from Hello Dope Toys. It's the nice video game system. I'd open it up and turn the light on for you, but it would just make a mess because everything's stuffed back inside. But, it comes with the boxing gloves and a guitar and a soccer ball, football. One of the cool things it comes with is the folding metal chair. It's really nice. It's a little small for most 1/12 scale figures, but like it fits Mezco's pretty well. So that's my one pickup. And then
God, if you have a weak stomach, you may stop right here. Anybody hungry?
The return of the ToyLeet or ToyLeet.
This right here, the figure obscura from the Four Horsemen, Frankenstein's creature. What an awesome figure. Like the detail in his face and all the scars and the staples and everything else are just incredible. Figure is really, really nice. He's, tall and big like as he should be. And he comes with some really sweet ass accessories like this bed, which I have Odia strapped to right now. So
that's cool. I did see the accessories that came with him, and that is what almost got me to want to buy it. Not for the figure so much because it's just not my genre of figures that I would collect, but the side accessories. I mean,
like
really
you got
cool.
the heads in a jar you can do, the skull and all that other stuff. Lots of really, really cool accessories, which, of course, is one of the reasons I got him, but I really dig the creature. Comes with some really nice heads, and of course, figure obscura. They come with these little storybooks to tell you about the story and everything now too. So.
What did he run?
$70 was what he ran.
Okay.
Which isn't bad for everything that you get. I mean, you get a whole operating table and an extra table for accessories for operating on, and the past singles figure obscuras have been $69.99. I guess they just rounded it up to an even $70 this year. So.
Okay,
but shipping, I think it ended up costing me like $82 something with tax and all of it. So I mean, for everything you get and the accessories, I mean, it's incredible.
So did they did that sink or swim?
This one is definitely a top shelf. Shelf.
If I wanted to hit the flush it button. I wanted to do it.
You wanted to do it? Yeah, I can't flush this guy.
No, understood.
He comes with so many different ways to display him too. He's got 3 different cool heads. He comes with soft good pants. They sent like a tunic thing you can put on his waist if you want to have him basically on the operating table, which is like something like a towel over his private goodies. He came with bare feet and then like the typical Frankenstein style boots.
Yeah.
He's got this. It's a soft plastic overcoat kind of thing that's really, really cool looking. So, I mean, ideally, you could display them in about 18 different ways and still have a completely unique figure. So, a lot of people are getting multiples of them and stuff. I only got the one. I'm hoping that when they do the figure obscura, they've been doing like the retailer version of them. I hope they do one that's a little more green, typical of
more traditional
from the movies and stuff. So,
gotcha.
But yeah, definitely a cool figure. Definitely top shelf worthy.
Now,
as all figure obscuras are.
Now, I was going to ask something. I totally lost track of it. When it comes back to me, I'll ask you. Sorry. No. You're good.
So yeah, no flushing this guy. He wouldn't fit down the toilet anyway.
Oh, I know what it was. I was going to ask you. For someone who hasn't watched any of the reviews, and I'm sorry, my friends that have done, figure reviews on here, I just have not had a chance to catch up on it. Is that coat for Frankenstein? Is it a cloth or is it one of those like gummy rubbers?
This is really, really soft, pliable, plastic.
Okay. So is it like the gummy rubber like they would give with like the WWE Elite figures, or is it like even more like gummy soft?
It's not as thin as say like the Jada Toys overlays,
Okay.
like
Okay.
but
Yep.
for us, it's a little thicker, but it's still really, really pliable. Probably on par
Okay.
with like the AWOC, the skirt parts of the AWOC, the ones.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Thicker, but still really pliable. Really, really good. It'd be cool to have this like where it's wired, so you can kind of flare it out when he's walking
Oh,
and stuff like that. If it was soft goods, but I'm
Absolutely.
sure somebody's making soft goods that'll work for it. But
awesome. That's cool. Good deal. Okay. Do you want to check the chat real quick? I did see a bunch of messages kind of popping in there. And
yeah, we got another viewer, Frank
Hello, Frank.
Domonu. I don't know how to spell that.
Doom on Yo.
Yeah, I feel like punk today. I can't say anybody's name. And we got a couple. Let's put these up here real quick for you. Lunchbox Killa says, "Happy birthday!"
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Fatrid, no, that's Nolan. Nolan says, "Happy birthday!" And Briscoe says, "Happy birthday!" And
awesome.
Ted's jealous that he missed your birthday, so happy birthday.
You're good, brother. You're good. I wasn't making a big deal about it last week, so doing my thing, dude. My wife took me to a murder mystery show.
Figure, but he probably bought like 8 of them. So
he's got like he's waiting for Four Horsemen to go public so he can buy up all their stock the way he does their figures.
Someone put that coat on an AWOC figure. Looked really good. I didn't see that. No, that's awesome.
That I think would be cool. Like when he said that, I was like, "Ooh, I could see that coat being on like a Blight figure or one of the other army builders that they have. That would be cool."
Yeah. Joe, trying to get this one up. Joe says he used that coat for a Swig custom and it looked pretty good. Yeah. Joe's. I don't know if everybody saw it, but that Swig Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde that Joe put up was pretty badass.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I expect Joe to be bringing 1,000 Swigs to Legion's Con all on his own at this point.
Yeah, I think Joe said something. I can't remember what he said, but maybe like something like he's in the 40 range of Swigs that he actually has himself.
Oh my goodness!
Some crazy number.
What does each one of those figures go for? Is that one of the $30 ones, or is it more
I think with the Legion when they had the sale, they were $26, $27 ones. But
Joe, I need whatever money you got, brother, because I thought I was a spender. Because that's like
Joe's got a sickness of, and it's like it's a medieval sickness of mythic legions. It's
yeah, we got to keep Joe around.
Mythic legions disease.
If they don't keep Joe around, Four Horsemen might struggle. I mean, they might not hit their numbers next month.
They go under.
Exactly. No, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I think we're at that point where we're going to jump in and we're going to preview the main topic. So again, this week we'll be talking collector types from inbox to high end. We won't touch too much on that, but we will brief over it. But kind of asking the fans and the folks that are following us tonight, what kind of collector are you? And we'll take a deeper dive into those. But before we get there, let's take a look.
We love them all. His honest sunboys are all in the crew. High and or low, it's all up to you. From ToyLeet to the world, we're standing tall. No matter how you collect, we love them all. Just play and pose them, we'll keep them back tight. ToyLeet is where collectors unite.
Pretty short one this week. I didn't even have time to run to the freezer and grab some ice. So a little
you
quick
just
one.
made Matthew so happy because he gets so bored having to sit there and listen to a unique song that you threw together. I mean,
exactly. But I know he's been missing it. He needed that. He needed that little jingle.
He needed that little pickup.
In his life.
He's just jealous because him and Pop. He has to let Pop sing all of his songs. He doesn't get right. So
now it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Down by the creek where the water flows, we're shouting out to those who know. spreading joy, sharing love. ToyLeet fam, you rise above. Shout out from the creek, you're the best. Hype up the heroes who've passed the test. Community stars shining bright, lifting each other, it feels so right.
Awesome. So this weekend,
You know what? That song just reminded me. You know, I've always been trying to figure out what I always see in my head when this song comes on. Have you ever seen that movie where I don't even know what the hell the movie is, but in the beginning of it, like Ben Stiller jumps in the Jeep with like three of his buddies, and they're all in like tracksuits, and they're singing. And what the hell is that movie? Matthew probably
is
knows
it
what I'm talking
Dodgeball?
about. It's not Dodgeball, because Ben Stiller, they end up like spraying each other with gasoline after they go get their cappuccinos and stuff. What the oh man, I'll have to figure out what that movie is, but it's just this really stupid scene. It's hilarious.
Mystery Men?
Mystery Men. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I'll have to check it out. I don't think I've ever seen that one. Oh, Zoolander. Okay.
Is it Zoolander? Yeah,
That's what they're saying. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever watched that movie, to be honest. I'll have to check that out. Okay, so this week, with the shout out from the crick, I'm going to throw this over to you, Ed.
The Black Knight from Hella Dope Toys. Aaron, the man, the myth, the legend, the dark one. He is legends, and can't say too much about Aaron other than the fact that he's a really great guy. You know, he does a good stream on Sunday nights with his partner in crime, Ted Darklaw, and
I mean,
you know,
he kind of carries that show, right?
he's got a stream with Darklaw, who puts on a private members only show and completely doesn't know if anybody's there. It was hilarious. It was awesome. But yeah, and then let me just throw it back over to you, because you are now doing something else with first of all, let me tell you, like the Black Knight, you guys owe the Black Knight basically thanks for all the toys that Aldo carries, because he does most of the ordering and all that stuff for the toys. So Ted definitely has part in the decisions, but Aaron's the guy that pushes the buttons and says, yeah, we're going to put this in the store. So
Yeah.
we thank you, Aaron, for that. So
yeah, and we wanted to champion you, Aaron, because Hella Dope Toys, both you guys are wonderful folks. We talked about Ted a few weeks ago, but we wanted to give you a shout out too, because of all the awesome things that you're doing. You're all, you guys are really busy. You're not in all of the chat streams as much as you had been earlier on last year and stuff, but you guys definitely pop in throughout the weeks. You're always there championing folks, trying to do your part. And then, one of the things for me is obviously you're my co-host of a show that we haven't done and we didn't do last week before the pay-per-view just because we've been so freaking busy. And this is kind of my way of calling out to you to say, Aaron, let's get back on the show. But no, it's also,
the best part about all of this is that on Sunday night, Aaron was saying, yeah, Travis, we got to get together and get this show figured out. And on Tuesday night, you're like, yeah, Aaron, we got to get together and get this next show figured out. And you guys are
right.
just like playing phone tag via your streams.
Right. Exactly. But also, one of the things I want to say is for someone like me who's been working on establishing a business and building out a website for it, his familiarity with Shopify has been helpful, because I've definitely talked to him. He's offered countless times of information between him and Ted alone, messaging them directly on the Hella Dope thing. They're always there to support and answer questions as I have, ideas and thoughts and stuff. So, Aaron's always, available to support folks and doing good things. So we just wanted to champion you here tonight, Aaron. So here's one to you, brother.
Yeah. And, that's the thing about like Hella Dope Toys. Those guys are they're going into their third official year of business, and they're doing good, but they're still small in the grand scale of things, and they still take the time out of their lives to try to help everybody that they can possibly help, and promote everybody that they can possibly promote, small guys to big guys. They're not sticking their nose up at the small people, and they're not afraid to take on the big guys either. So shout out to Aaron, but also you as well, Ted. The boys over at Hella Dope are totally rock stars.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry I couldn't help it, but I had to open this guy while you were doing it. So yeah.
Like I said, I got that one Plunderling is the only one that I got. I got that Captain Ash, I think his name is. And,
Oh, okay. Yeah, the shadow looking one, like
the ears you can put on the outside of the box and display the box with it and everything.
Yep.
What a great fun little toy concept that was.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't keep those. I just kind of put them in a box for
I only
some
have the
craft
one,
later.
so, it's easy to keep the box.
Exactly.
If I had multiples, it'd be hard because that box is definitely, takes up some space quick.
Yep. So the next piece I'm going to talk about, it's a little piece I want to put in here. Already prefaced
Toyvember. What's this Toyvember you speak of?
Well, Toyvember is it's the elite level or ToyLeet level action figure photography challenge event that's going to happen every year in November. Kicking off its first annual, making it a tradition. It starts this upcoming November. There's a link out there. Go check out our Instagram. You can get some information there. There's not a direct link because Instagram limits some things, but you'll find it in some of the YouTube videos here. And we'll also be able to share it with you, message us there. But there's a pre-register. It's a month-long challenge. All you got to do is follow us on our Instagram and hashtag Toyvember and ToyLeet on Instagram when you're posting the daily challenge during the month of November. The idea here and the concept is to connect, improve, and have the chance to win surprises. There's other toy photography events that happen allegedly, as I found out last week, that happen sometimes in October. My idea wasn't as original as I had hoped. But
That's all
what it is it's ToyLeet, and ToyLeet's Toyvember, and that just means it's better than everything else. So the premier action figure photography event of the year begins next month. Pre-register now for your chance to get some bonus points leading into next month, so that you can compete against all your peers in the action figure photography challenge. Whether you're a Lego collector, a Mythic Legions obsessed person like Joe, or someone who collects a whole bunch of different things. The contest and challenges that are daily prompts that will be announced and published will fit any genre of action figure or toy that you choose to do. Just be creative and have fun, because we'll be giving points on that. And like I said, first show of December, we will announce the winners, and those folks that are in the continental U.S. Will be selected based on those points and announced, and had the opportunity to receive some gifts from us just in time for the holidays. And with Aaron Payne in here, as you can ask him. I send out some really cool gifts right around Christmas time, intentionally or unintentionally, as he'll let you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And sometimes it includes dog food, and it's just my Amazon orders being delivered to the wrong house.
Well, hey, Aaron loves dogs, so it worked out well. You didn't even
exactly.
There's a little bonus for you.
Awesome. I did see that we had DJ 5K join. If you want to pull that up, awesome. Thank you, DJ.
That's right, DJ.
Appreciate you jumping in.
And we also have Menjoza, or as Punk likes to call him, Menjoza.
Menjoza. Yeah. Awesome. Just call those guys out. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully you're enjoying the show.
Go back to our Figure Obscura swig contest thing, or swig.
Okay.
Swigs at LegionCon. Joe says they're $37. That's the normal price, yeah. And Matthew says he has a sickness of mythic proportions. Good dad pun, Matthew.
I hope he takes part in Toyvember, and I hope we get some really cool photos of those swigs for every day of the month.
And Matthew better take
challenges them
part in Toyvember also.
Oh yes, I do hope so. Okay, awesome. And then the next piece.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
Yeah, so we got the news this week. This week, we'll kick it off with some Animal Warriors of the Kingdom news. There was an update that came out last Wednesday from those guys with some additional photos. They talked about in the update for the Kickstarter. When I say update, I'm talking about the Kickstarter update from their Series 2 for these figures. The production for the 2 Brawler figures. I'm getting a little static layer. Is it on your end too, or just mine?
The sound?
Are you getting any static in the conversation? No. Maybe it's just me. It's all in my head. Hold on a second. About that music start playing.
I don't think I am anyway.
Okay.
No, I don't hear.
So cool. So they've begun the production on the Brawler figures, Hannibal and Kali Prime. Those they're progressing and ensuring their articulation and fit before the final tooling. Then the scathing, the necromancer has completed its paintmaster stages, which there were some photos out there we shared last week, I believe. And had a professional photo shoot already. Looks amazing. Like I'm all in on the AWOCs. I wasn't hugely interested in the birds of it, but after seeing scathing, I'm like, I'm really happy I just stuck to my guns and went all in on the whole line, and didn't pass on those because they look really cool. And then they also announced that with the 2 shows left in 2024, they've unveiled Felonious as the 2025
Felonious.
How do you say it? Felonious? Yes.
Felonious.
Okay. Thank you. Felonious. That makes more sense because it's like Faker, right? So Felonious as the 2025 Jolanta exclusive figure. And they also have some upcoming events which include the Secret Galaxy Expo, which I think that's tied in with that Dan Larson guy, maybe. And then they have Legions Con in New Jersey later on this year in November. But you can see the pictures of the 2 brawler figures that are coming, which I mean, they just look freaking awesome. Like they finally a figure big enough to fight my Tanger and my brutes that they have. And then you obviously have the Felonious head sculpt, a little bit closer view there, where you can see some of the detailed
interesting
color.
to see how these guys articulate with the bigger, abdomen, and chest area. Because like all the original ones were very thin, style figures. These ones are
not Tanger
and
the
Thane were, but I mean, like this is a new scale for them, right? This is kind of the middle range.
It's not quite as bulky as those, I believe, right? It's more of a muscular, leaner, and less of a heavier build.
I mean, it was impressive how Thane and Tanger definitely articulated. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these bulkier figures articulate compared to the standard size.
Absolutely, very, very, very excited for these for sure. Yeah. So that's what we got for the AWOC. Moving on to
let's get brutal.
Some of the Brutal Realm figures, which obviously was a fully funded Kickstarter. There's some pictures of the paintmasters for, I'm going to try to pronounce their names, but you have Ogon, you have Cronan, Crowman, have all been showcased. And then, they'll be planning to bring those to Legions Con before being sent to the factory. And there'll be some adjustments made to the striations and the torso pelvis gaps. They also have been finalizing some of the female head sculpts for the warrior body and progressing on the primal warrior head sculpts, and also working simultaneously on the White Wolf and Panther designs. With updates
those
on the
primal
back
versions look
soon.
Awesome.
They really do. They really, really do. Very excited. And our last week's guest, Emerald Knight Photos, John there. One of the individuals that I am confident signed up and pre-registered for his chance to win the Toy Vember contest. So the shields there. That shield looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this line, and I was not someone who was heavily interested in this line when it first started popping up on the internet and on the Instagram. I was very hesitant, but by the time they brought it to live, I was like, gotta get these.
You're like, these guys look all right, but I'm really not digging it. And then you kept seeing more pictures, and Travis slowly decided, I'm all over this. I'm definitely all in.
And then when I saw from what was it ToyLanta it was Joe Lanta they just had, right?
Yeah.
Right. It was Joe Lanta, I think they just had back in a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And I saw these guys next to the Animal Warriors, the Kingdom, and I'm like, they're perfect scale. Like from what I could see in the images, they look so perfect. It's exactly what I want for humans with those AWOCs. So very excited. Next up is not so small independent toy line. Somebody may have heard of these guys. They're known as they're one of the bigger independent toy lines that are out there, and they recently made some announcements. But the one that I wanted to call out this week was the Graveyard Skeleton 4-pack. Which is going to feature the fully articulated skeletons in a new ashen gray, as they're referring it. I don't know what that means, but that's the color they're referring to it. They did have some comparison pics on their Instagram.
So the standard skeletons have always been like a yellowish bone color. And then, of course, the recent army builder was very bleach white, like you'd see in, one of the skeleton dummies at a museum or, in the science labs, right, that show all the bones. These guys are going to look like, bone that's just been sitting out in the nature for
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if I was going to buy this, but it fits in with my fantasy lure. I'm not in my fantasy lure in the world that I have with those. I'm not really going to have like skeletons up moving around and stuff, but I like the idea of having the dead carcasses that are like just the bones and using them to display in some environment. And I thought that was really cool. So I love the different heads.
Thanks to Joe here, I got the skeleton builder. He picked it up for me.
Okay.
So thanks, Joe, again for that.
Okay.
Those figures are just incredible. So I can't wait to get this 4-pack. I'm probably going to end up picking up 2 of them just because you got options with the heads and, all sorts of stuff like that. So.
And it's reasonably priced, about $25 a figure. When you get it all figured out, it's about $100. You get the accessories, the weapons. I'll likely just use them, like I said, as a dio or scene uses.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Off to the side and leave them there. They're not likely to be stuff I'm going to have. I mean, though I could probably have Conan or not Conan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you could definitely set up a scene to have an army of skeletons, attacking.
Exactly.
Your brutal realm figures, but
exactly.
The other cool thing is that these are going out for pre-order from the 14th through the end of Halloween, so October 31st, and they're going to be pre-order at the store Horseman and at select retailers like Hella Dope Toys.
Yep, and it's the same price.
Yep,
which I think ties into what we've heard, the rumblings on the interwebs here, talking about them adjusting how they handle their pricing to be to some degree a little bit more in line with their retail partners, to help the retail partners and help themselves, things like when they're at conventions, not necessarily pricing it so low, but kind of keeping it somewhere in the middle, like to balance things out. So
the other cool thing about this set is, like, Joe and Oz and I had a conversation earlier today or maybe yesterday about the skeleton mask. So, fitting one over, say, like Frankenstein's bald head or another, mythic legions, and using it kind of like armor, skull armor for a character is going to be pretty cool. So
it absolutely, I like that, and that's why I thought it was. I mean, I wouldn't use them on the skeletons where you saw in the promo pictures myself, but if you could find a way to use these on some other figures, I thought that was really cool too. Or it gives you extra pieces to kind of put up against your diorama, next
definitely
to, like,
diorama
throne or something. Yeah, for sure. And for $100 with a $10 flat fee. Shipping rate with a delivery of Q2 2025 right around the corner. You'll have these just in time to start prepping your Toyvember 2025 scenes if you'd like to.
I already have a shot of these guys with the Army Builder skeleton I got. So the 5 of them down at the creek, I already got a shot planned out. I just got to wait.
Nice.
Wait for them to show up and
wait for them to show up in the spring, right?
Yep, that's right.
Good deal. Cool. So that's what we got from the 4 Horsemen. Obviously, they got Legions Con right around the corner. We'll be talking a little bit about that in a moment. The next, we have Fish Toys, and these images. I don't know if you saw these, Ed, and for those guys following and listening right now, there's some cool stuff these guys are doing if you like mounts. And when I talk about mounts, I'm not talking about stuff you put on your wall. I'm talking about stuff that you're going to take out to the creek and the woods and the fields and get a little dirty. But if you look at this, you've got the horse with the lifelike hair, with all sorts of crazy articulation. You've got the saddle pack and everything. It's amazing focus to detail here with all of the articulation in the veins and whatnot. These just look amazing. And then on the right hand side, you have an armored, some sort of devilish beast here that they have. Again, another mount, which I thought was really cool. So very
Did you
excited.
see the video of the guy doing the twisting of the articulation of the whiteboard?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like. I mean, they were beating the snot out of that thing, and it was just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, moving all over like this, like one of the things, and this is where, like, somebody asked one of the Savage Crucible streams in the chat, they said, hey, do you plan to do horses? Do you plan to do these things? And they're like, like 4 Horsemen's already doing a really good horse. Like, why would I waste the time necessarily to try to, what? I like that message, Black Knight. That's pretty solid. I wonder if you should go be a subscriber and subscribe to the Hella Dope stream, and also maybe become one of their
their members.
Become a member, because I imagine there might be like some cool options there. There's always these discount codes and things like that that they give to the members. I mean, I'm a member. I know you gifted yourself a membership, Ed.
I did gift myself a membership.
I gifted some memberships out there at one point.
I've gifted several others as well, but I did gift myself one.
Yes.
Which is crazy. I didn't even know that could happen, but I did it. So now we know it can happen.
exactly. But like as
Oh,
I
yeah,
was pointing
skeleton
out,
pack, free shipping to the U.S. That's awesome shit right there.
that's great. One of the things I'll point out about the horse, which is where I was going with this, was that, Rob over there at Savage Crucible said, well, why would I, unless I can do something better or different or improved on what's already out there, why would you, necessarily come out with something else? Focus on the things that you're really doing well with. And like, I kind of respected that, because it's like, I'm not just going to come out with another horse to put my own horse on the market. But these guys over here at Fish are like, we're putting another horse on the market, and we're putting one that has some amazing features. Again, this isn't to discredit the ones that Four Horsemen puts out, but this is kind of like taking it to the next level, a little bit more high end with it. So I'm very excited to see and feel one of these in hand, because from what I'm seeing, it looks like something that a lot of folks would be really pleased with, especially people who are doing photography and want that additional.
With that lifelike care and some of the pictures I've seen of this horse, it looks legit real. Like
use like one of those little blowers, little fan blowers to have it kind of moving. Oh man, it'll be really cool. But they didn't leave it there. They didn't stop there. I did not capture this picture because of the character in front of it. I captured this picture because of the saber-tooth looking thing in the background, which we've seen previously. And this isn't the one from the other group that's doing one of these. What is it? Creative Beasts. Yeah, Creative Beasts.
Yep.
This is different than that. This is another one, and then they also have ones with armor. And I'm like, man, these can get really, really cool. So you've got, the bear one, which looks awesome, and then you have one that is, armored to the grills there, with shoulder armor. It's got the saddle, it's got the headgear. So very, very cool stuff.
With all these saber-tooths coming out, I mean, you got this one, you got the Meditoys one, you got
Marvel one. You got
the Marvel one, you got the Creative Beast Studios, and then of course you got the Motu ones that are different colors and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You could have yourself a whole army of just saber-toothed tigers now, and you got the figure that Meditoys I think just released, right? Was it Meditoys or maybe that was,
it might be Memory or Medi. They kind of go by the same name, I think.
Memory and Medi are the same ones, but then there was that, maybe it was Fury Planet, but yeah, the one that's actually like an anthropomorphic.
Yeah. So some cool things there. Definitely we'll keep our eye on these. I got to find out how to pre-order them, because
if these articulate like their horses do, holy Jesus.
Oh man. Yeah. And I mean, and this isn't to discredit the mainstream or the mass produced Marvel Legends one, because the Marvel Legend one is a perfectly suitable for what you're using it for. But these go that next level, which again, if you're going to do it, make sure you do it better. And it looks like they have done these better. Next, we'll jump into some Fresh Monkey Fiction, if my mouse wants to work. Yeah, there we go. Fresh Monkey Fiction, a little update. As we know, there's that other website out there that is not Helidope Toys that does toys. They're not quite good. They're kind of bad, but they have their 25th anniversary of their website, and one of the things they've announced was
like Mossman says, if you put it in there, Helidope Toy or Big Bad Toy Store, I'm probably just going to delete it anyway. So.
Exactly. So they have their Soldiers for a Fortune. Close Combat Operative, which is like their 25th anniversary special for this pre-orders. I think it's the, what did they say? Shares the parts with the Monster Force.
Yeah,
and
it's all scale with the Monster Force. I mean, that's the cool thing about some of the things that Fresh Monkey Fiction is doing. They got the Monster Force. They have, I think, a Cops line, and then they got the Soldiers of Fortune, which they have the black and white one, the standard one that they released, which is kind of like inspired by Spy versus Spy from old Mad Magazine. Oh, okay. And of course, this one you kind of got the Deadpool look, but also
it's exactly what it is. It's
that other, that other toy store that's got red and black as their color.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is.
Cool looking figures, right? I mean, just basic little army builders, but all the heads and all the gear is interchangeable. So I mean, you could have a completely different. This guy could be part of your Monster Force, or it could be, a Red Ninja, or whatever you choose to do with them.
Yep, absolutely. No, really cool. And like I said, it's, another variety of the army builders, and it definitely has what they quoted as saying, and unintentionally resembles the Deadpool. And hey, Brick, thanks for joining, brother. We missed you here. It's officially started. We can start over. The not Deadpool is rad too. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah, looks cool. Next, we'll go on to another independent toy line here. Monstores. They're doing their Kickstarter. There's only 48 hours left. They're at about $129,000 as of the last time I looked. about four, like I said, so I guess they have 40 hours left, not 48. And then, right now is the time to join, right? There's a small window left. It's already funded. So, you're getting whatever it is that you select. If it's one of those figures that's that's been unlocked. I know they have some stretch goals at 130 and 140. They're on the cusp of getting that 130. It would not shock me when I display this next week if they hit those other 2 milestones up to 140, just because that's how Kickstarters work, right? You get to this final, 48 hour, and then you get that FOMO from everybody who's like, I'm not sure, maybe, whatever. And then they go in and grab their stuff.
They had a pretty cool little commercial I saw on Instagram either today or yesterday that they put out. So
I did not see that. I did not see that. I'll check it out. They have a special $55 per figure price right now with a Kickstarter, and a discounted $99 set available only through the campaign if you get a set of figures. And then they'll continue on to the backer kit. So people will be able to take part in the backer kit. But these are prices that are only available to the Kickstarter. So if you're really considering it and you were thinking about to go in the backer kit, highly recommended that you get the price now before that price changes in the near future. Again, we know it's funded. They're going to be having a backer kit here coming around the corner. Why wait till then? Get in now and get the price while it's good. The next is our 9 to 5 Warriors, which we talked about previously. That's another Kickstarter independent toy line. It's the second time, similar to in ways of like what AWOC did, right? AWOC had their first Kickstarter, was very successful, went back to the drawing board, came up with a bunch of other molds and features and things like that, and went forward with their second Kickstarter. And that's kind of what the 9 to 5 Warriors here has done. You can see that they have a couple different figures. You got your pencil, and you've got your army group there, and there's a bunch of other different characters that they have, some stretch goals. They actually have a fairly low baseline goal, which is that $45,000 goal. So they're already halfway there. They've still got 16 days to go. So, over the course of the next 2 weeks, we'll continue to keep folks updated. But I'm sure that they're going to continue to climb. Being halfway there already is nearly, it's in their favor that they will likely hit the goal as we get to the end there. I don't recall the stretch goals. I know there was a few, but check out 9 to 5 Warriors. Some pretty interesting, cool little, niche like toys that I've always found to be quite interesting. Reminds me of some of the stuff that I've seen back in the 80s or 90s.
It's definitely a call back to the late 80s, early 90s toys and stuff.
For sure.
Crazy things that you can do with everyday objects. It's just a cool concept for sure. And like you said, right? These would be perfect just to throw on your office desk and just this conversation piece, right? And something to look at that brings you joy in the middle of your day when you're going, not another damn meeting with the boss. Oh my God. I can't.
Exactly. I might bring a plunderling into my office tomorrow or the next day and put it on my desk and see what people do. I just don't want to lose. I don't want somebody to steal my stuff. Like, I've been around quite a while, so I'm sure most people don't touch my desk because I can be a little bit of a pain in the butt.
I tell you, like my bud Jeff there, Skunkworks, he's been a guest on our show. He's got a huge part of his collection, because he's mainly a 1/6 G.I. Joe Adventure Team collector. Right. But he's got like some Mezco Conans and some other, characters that he's, basically nostalgia characters that he enjoys, right? And he's got a lot of them at his desk at work, and I'm just like, man, someday you're going to go in there and one of those is going to be missing.
Oh man, I would have someone's head. I might set up a Wise camera so I get alerts if anybody goes to my desk. Set it up on the Wi-Fi there.
Yes, I had to change out of my fleece sweatshirt because it's actually it's only like 40 degrees here today, so it's down to 40 something now. So it was cold, but my heat kicked on and I got hot, so I had to get rid of that. I didn't want to show off my muscles, so I had to put something on. So
right.
Rip out of my shirt or anything and make
we save that. We save that for the Wonder fans where we put all our really good stuff.
Yeah. If you want to see the wardrobe change in real life, you have to pay for that.
Right. That don't come free, man. My dad taught me well. The next one I want to give some updates on, which was, Ed, when I saw the stuff coming from.
I knew. I knew. I was.
Exactly. So one of my big, one of the collectibles that I've been going crazy on, and really it's, with all honesty, Savage Crucibles really defined, my entire collection, right? Because, when this thing was doing the Kickstarter, is when I started asking questions of like Jeremy Jernigan. I'm like, hey, do these Savage Crucible things, because I know you're into them, do they tie in with AWOCs? Do they tie in with Masterverse? Like, and that's kind of like where I got in this whole muddy water of everything that I play with now, and kind of shifted a large portion of my funds away from the classifieds.
You were definitely
Valaverse.
all wrestling, and then you kind of morphed into GI Joe classifieds in the Valaverse, and then AWOC and Crucible hit, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to go all fantasy. It's okay.
Yeah, I went heavy. Well, because it's just so cool, the swords. And speaking of swords, look at that damn sword. Look at that stuff.
Yeah,
Elric of Melonborn. This is a cool one, to the point where I went out and my mom was like, I mean, so this came out was it this past weekend?
Yeah, just recently. This is
Friday, I think this was this past weekend. Yeah, because we would have talked about it last week. So this was definitely this past weekend. And I gotta flag this message, and I'll cover this later, Fat Red. So stick around. I will talk about that. I will talk about that shortly. So the Elric,
I think it's Melnibone.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try that. We'll just say Elric, right?
Matthew says it very smoothly. I can't say it as smoothly as Matthew. But.
Yeah, this guy here. I saw the previews. It was like Friday and stuff. So it was my birthday, and I'm sitting there, and I'm getting all pumped up. I'm like, ooh, some birthday news. Like, and then I'm messaging in the different groups. I'm like, is there anybody live that can get photos of this? I can see this and something else off in the distance at their booth. I need Renato or someone to post something, and I wasn't getting it. And then all of a sudden I started seeing, somebody posted pictures, and I got to see this. And so I'm like, oh. And my mom was messaging me. She's like, oh, what can I get you for your birthday? And I'm like, actually, I just found this graphic novel that I want off of Amazon. And it's a graphic novel about Elric. And I'm like, that's what I want. And there's a bunch of books on it. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to dig into that. Because what does Travis like more than anything, more than plastic? He loves lore. He loves the lore behind the plastic. So Mr. Wonderful told his mom for his 40th birthday, I want a comic book to go with my toys. So as a grown-ass man, I'm getting my comic book and my plastic. So yes, I will be very much so ordering Elric as soon as that goes live. It's that same 6.5, 7-inch scale, right with the Savage Crucible line. It's licensed directly from Michael Moorcook's Eternal Champion Multiverse.
Hey, this, I mean, the armor and the swords and everything on this figure are just so awesome looking. So this is definitely
I'm pumped.
I'll be pre-ordering this one. Now imagine having this guy on one of those armored Smilodons. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh man, it's going to be cool. And, they're going to be continuing, obviously if you haven't followed Savage Crucible and this is of interest to you, go out and subscribe and follow them, hit their websites and their Instagrams and social platforms and make sure you sign up to follow them, because they will, they'll be continuing to announce this. They will have some pre-orders coming soon with a $45 to $50 range for this. So, very,
and yes,
I think Briscoe, I saw that online.
This was a direct inspiration for the Witcher character for sure.
Oh,
I won't call it a ripoff because I'm not going to trash the people that created that game. But it was definitely a heavy inspiration. So
absolutely. And Rocco, I wouldn't say I've been watching them. I would actually say I've been stalking them, because that stuff is. That is something.
Travis is one private DM away from being, arrested for stalking Savage Crucible, Harvard Studios.
Rob Post, I saw him at PowerCon last year. He and I connected offline about some stuff. Obviously, trying to discuss the Hexus Tech. He pointed me in the direction for some things in the industry. Wonderful guy, just totally, insightful. Provides insight and I'm just a nobody. He didn't even have to respond to me, but he totally did. And it might have, I don't know if it helped that I backed his Kickstarter not once but twice and all in, and I don't know if that helped. I didn't tell him that, but he was very, very cool. And and then I saw him at SoloCon over the summer. There's so many cool things and opportunity come out of there. I am extremely pumped. Anyone who missed out on the Kickstarter definitely missed out, because there's been some issues with the feet people complained about or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're going to make right on those feet. They've already stated that. And for the first time out of the line, figures, I'm truly impressed with what they've produced. The toys are really, really cool.
And
cool
then they're kind of doing, Four Horsemen have their, figure obscure that ties into books and, and Harbinger Studios kind of following that same, fantasy type thing where they got the Frazetta inspired figure. And now they're doing this Michael Moorcock inspired figures. So
Yep.
it's cool stuff.
Yep. They also announced the Shield of Delzeria from the LA Comic Con. It features 3 different heads. So this is another one of the Lemurians, basically, right? But it's like an albino one. It's the white plastic with a really cool paint app. In my opinion, really cool paint app. They've been testing and playing with some fabric cloth. You got the cape. You also have like that blood red armor. So like I saw this on not only on this figure, but you saw it on display on another one of their figures at the con. Just continuing to impress over and over again. And they had some really cool Dio pieces and stuff that were on their page, which I was seeing in the comments. People kept going, oh, maybe that'll come out. Maybe you'll hear more about that soon. I won't say that came from an official voice by any means, because I don't think it did. But they definitely, folks were like, hey, it sounds like maybe we could see some of these really cool Dios that they were using. There's like these skull bones things on the platforms and stuff, things that hold the swords and things like that. So some really cool stuff that they're doing with Savage Crucible. So definitely keep your eye on them. Very, very pleased with everything. Yeah, no, absolutely. Tying in with Frazetta and Michael
it's like there's a lot of guys out there that don't really collect action figures, but love Conan or love, Frazetta or Michael Moorcock's stories or, whatever it is, right? And they get one of the figures and they're like, oh, well, this guy really needs somebody to battle, like, a Mythic Legion's, skeleton or, whatever it is, right? So it's
for sure. And, it's the other side, right? Like, I didn't know who Frazetta was. I had seen the art, right? Like, in passing, in a passive way, because I wasn't big into the fantasy stuff. I, enjoyed things, but I didn't dive into it. So it wasn't, at my knowledge bank right off the bat.
Right.
But now that I've started following the Savage Crucible and I see the Frazetta stuff, I've obviously, I got the Norseman or whatever it is that they have coming out.
Yeah.
And I also got the original one that they did. I can't remember what his name is, but I got the first one that those guys released over on Frazetta. Dark Wolf, thank you. And then, additionally, now when I go to my local comic book store here in upstate New York, they have the guy actually has a bunch of poster prints of Frazetta that I saw. He must have just had somebody trade them all in or something like that. So he's got a bunch of that on the wall. I'm like, hey, is that Frazetta art? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, it's print copies or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of checking them out. So it's like, you notice that stuff. So that crossover is going to expose them to.
I have a book somewhere. I cannot find it. So it must be in some of the stuff I packed away when I got divorced. But
gotcha.
I have like a whole collection of, Frazetta art in a book, right?
Oh, cool.
Him and his wife are just, they did some amazing stuff.
The talent is so impressive. Moving on from Savage Crucible, I can spend all day talking about these guys because I love what they're doing. Some really cool stuff coming.
Before we bounce on to the next news piece, the Savage Crucible have the same issue for me that like the AWOCs are coming out with their lizard lines. Like there's so many different head options now, and they all look so cool. It's like, I don't need to buy like 17 of these white dudes, but I might just need 17 of these white lizards so I can have multiple heads, right? It's like,
for sure, absolutely. No, that definitely makes sense, man. And again, I'm not an army builder so much. I'll grab 1 or 2 of them and stuff, but pop a head here and there. But there are some really cool. I mean, and I went pretty heavy on the stinking lizards there for the.
Rocco says Frazetta is Italian, so
hey, it's a win. It's a win.
It's like Fragile. It's Italian.
And Valaverse had a big announcement over the weekend, or the last couple days. They announced that they will be in attendance at Legions Con. After they wrap up with their Rhode Island Comic Con, they're going to be heading to Bobby's hometown of New Jersey and making their first appearance at Legions Con. Looks like there was some sort of open booth and whatnot. So Vala had decided, or maybe it's been in the works and I just didn't, maybe I hadn't been following it, but it looks like they're going to be jumping in and appearing in Jersey later this year for that November 9th and 10th.
I don't know if they had planned on, I didn't hear anything from Bobby Valaverse earlier on about being at Legions Con at all. So I think this just kind of happened. And of course, it's still in their backyard, right? So it's not like you gotta, go that far to attend.
Yeah. When you're moving the product that he is and you have the displays and stuff that he has, it has to make logical sense to go to a convention, so a one-day convention isn't always the most ideal unless it's right in your backyard. And hey, it's even better when there's a 2-day convention right in your backyard that gets a ton of foot traffic. And if they've got the available space for him to put everything that he likes to put on display.
And it's right before, or right after, Series 5 launches, because he just put out an announcement today that Series 5 should be hitting within a few weeks. So it'll probably be hitting right around this time that, Legions Con happens. So it's probably a perfect,
in the announcement, in the announcement, they did make note that they should be bringing this year's convention exclusives and new Series 5 items there. So,
So there
they
you
should
go.
have some of those items available at Legion's Con. So it's an opportunity to get your hands on the product in person. So, yeah. I don't know if there's anything you want to cover in the chat. I know there's been a lot of side chat. I think we kept up with most things. But
Yep. No,
we're ready to
everything
hit the
we've
main
been bringing it
topic.
up as it comes on. So we're ready to
Sounds
dive
good.
into the topic.
Cool. So let's hit it with this little preview runner, and then we'll go from there.
We love them all. His honest sunboys are all in the crew. High and or low, it's all up to you. From ToyLeet to the world, we're standing tall. No matter how you collect, we love them all. Just play and pose them, we're keeping back tight. ToyLeet and Black Collectors unite.
So that's going to bring us right to our main topic here. And I see, I know Brick is posting questions here.
Yeah.
I do not know whose spot they're taking officially. However, I do know due to some of the storms that happened down in the southeast, there was some group, something family, some craft family.
Strupp?
I think of the name. Yes, the Strupp family wasn't. They did have to announce that they would not be able to be in attendance due to just what they were facing down there. That was made an announcement earlier last week after the storms. The Strupp family. So I don't know if that's the booth they're taking. I just know that the Strupp family was definitely one of the groups. Someone.
I'm sure there's several others that are probably dipping out because of that. Of many shows.
And I mean, the Florida area is getting hit very heavily right now. I believe.
Right. I mean, Vala, if they bring their typical booth as a regular booth, maybe 4 times the size of a regular booth, they bring the big setup. So I mean,
I mean, I think when they were at PowerCon, they can take
Yeah.
up quite a bit of space depending on how they go with the layout. Whatnot. It's 4 different 10 by 8 sections or whatever. So, so yeah.
Yes, McFarlane Fidgetals. That's an inbox collector for sure.
I don't even know what that is. Should I know what that is?
So the Fidgetals are the figures that McFarlane releases that are a physical action figure, but they come with a digital action figure you can collect as well.
Didn't even know that was a thing. Is that new?
It's been around for, I think he started it like maybe 2 years ago, but when he first did it, you could actually just buy the actual digital action figure. As what was that art that everybody was buying that was,
NFTs?
NFTs were going crazy. He started it back then, and now he does it as a digital. So you get the physical character, but you also have a digital figure too.
That's interesting. Lunchbox Killer. I have some of those. If you're talking about LJNs, I'm thinking that's what you mean there.
Is that the big rubber dudes?
Yeah, the big rubber ones. I have some that I have sitting around in a box somewhere. I have no intentions on keeping. It's just not in my wheelhouse. I wonder
if he's talking about the new ones, though. The new guy that's coming out with those. Remember, they have that new the guy that's remaking them. I can't remember what he's calling those.
Are you talking Matt Cardona? He does a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, former WWE superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's doing some stuff too. But yeah, hit me up, Lunchbox, if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for the old ones.
Yeah, and hope the folks in Florida stay safe for sure, Brick. And the guys that are living in the Carolinas and Georgia, they got hit really hard. Thoughts and prayers go out to all you guys, and hopefully we can get back to rebuilding soon.
For sure, absolutely. Best wishes to everyone. We hope you the best, and keep your head up.
Briscoe, we can't answer this question, but obviously some people do because some people are actually collecting them. So
yeah,
I mean,
they were.
It's a new box to keep your toys in, I guess.
So, diving in, right? So, just kind of highlight, right? And then I kind of approach this in a way where I'll ask you the questions, Ed, and obviously we can go to the chat too. But, really one of the things we wanted to talk about on this topic is kind of like this idea that have you ever thought about what kind of collector you are. There's a wide range of, approaches to when collecting items, right? It could be everything in the original packaging, those mint in cardboard or, mint on card approaches. It could be that let the plastic breathe like I am. I don't often keep things in boxes. But there's some people who just like to keep the original packaging too, but some people just like to pose them, as you can see in the picture here with this awesome photography. Speaking of photography, we're talking about Toyvember. Remember, go sign up for Toyvember and take some awesome photos just like you see in this image here.
That's right. Remember Toyvember.
Exactly. I like that. Remember Toyvember. That's cool. But today, we're gonna be breaking down a little bit on the different types of collectors and how they each bring something unique to the toy community, right? So as we dive in a little bit deeper in the next several slides, I want the audience to chime in here as they're listening and following us to, provide, what kind of collector are you? Inbox, unboxed? Are you a high-end collector? Collect more of the high-end stuff. What does it start with the M? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Mondo,
are you into the Mondo stuff? I mean, to me, the Mondo is like the most expensive stuff that I see in the toy realm. That's like articulating toys.
Yeah.
So there's those, and
Mondo and Hot Toys, right? With the 1/6 scale, gorgeous figures.
Exactly. So as one of my favorite Instagrammers says, let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
Exactly.
Gotta love Frankie's enthusiasm, man.
Exactly, brother. So as we sit and we kind of cover this, right? We have this idea that inbox collectors, they saw sometimes, like I said, they call it mint inbox collectors. They prefer to keep their figures in the original packaging, pristine and untouched. For some, the packaging is as much a part of the collectible as the figure itself. You hear Bobby Valla talk often, on the Valaverse stuff. He has a lot of things where he talks about the artwork. He, another member of the community, Quentin J. Badwell, he, has done some of the designs for some of the boxes, the box art and stuff. More recently we saw, some toy lines go to plastic-free packaging to save the world in their small attempt. And, that included a bunch more additional, box art. So, for some folks, they like to leave that stuff all in the box and kind of keep it in its place and time, as a piece of toy history. What are your thoughts on that, Ed?
I mean, I see the reason for some people that collect that are inbox collectors, right? Like you said, a lot of them, the box art and stuff, and the way the figures actually displayed in the box. And let's be honest, some figures just look better in the packaging than they do, when you take them out of the packaging and try to pose them up and display them and stuff. But I've never been an inbox collector, but during that Power of the Force reign, when everything was going crazy and some of the carded figures were going for hundreds of dollars supposedly, it's like it was really hard to take that figure out of the box. The only thing I can see that really nowadays, like if you go and buy a $500 play set from the 80s that's mint in box, I can understand keeping it in the box for that reason, right? Just because it's that type of thing. But the new stuff, man, if you're just collecting, if you collect it in box because you like the art and you like the way it looks in the package, more power to you. But if you're collecting in box because you think it's going to, be your child's college fund, forget about it. Just open the damn thing up and enjoy the figure,
Yeah. And that's, as I was digging and stuff and prepping this for the topic this week, one of the things that I came across consistently was, the main reasons people collect in boxes to preserve the figure's value, right? As many of the figure, in its original package will often sell. And I mean, I think this is more, I want to say this is not even often. It's always will sell for at least the most, it's going to have the most value, right? Having never been touched and anything in the box is going to sell for at least as much as you can get it out of box, if not more. So you're going to typically get the the most bang for your buck by keeping the box.
Right.
When I was going through this, I found that the idea behind a mint in box 1984 GI Joe figure, one of the Star Wars Kenner figures, they can go for today, often double or triple the price of a loose one, like of a loose one, right? And we're not talking about like what you originally paid for it, because that's obviously significantly less. Right. But being in the box compared to the out of box ones, there's definitely a benefit there. And there's people that don't want to collect I'll use an example. There's collectors out there that I'll go to Bobby Valla again, and the reason I do this is because he talks about some of the things he's done in his behind the scenes in his office and stuff, where he's gone through and said, "Oh, I collected all of these DC superheroes ones, and I went and I wanted to collect all of this," and then he talks about repros or whatever they are, right? Where folks have like reproduced things. Well, if it's mint in box, you don't have to worry about getting a deceitful fake, or it's less likely to be that. So there's a number of reasons, right? If you're trying to be like a keep that pristine collection. I mean,
really there's something, like I said, there's something to be said about collecting in box, especially when it's vintage stuff, because I mean, like if you get a 1960s, 70 eras, GI Joe or Mego figure that's mint in box, I mean, you're talking, a decent chunk of change, right? You're not going to go and dump $1,000 on an action figure, then take it out of the fresh box from 1970 that's never been opened and take it out to the mud. Chances of that figure probably fall apart anyway. Just because of the deterioration of plastic and rubber. But, it's I get it if that's the type of collector. And most of the guys that are collecting vintage stuff in box are probably openers of modern stuff. Most of those guys are kind of a amalgamation of both types of figures.
Yep. No, and that makes total sense, right? And when you think of like, I'm trying to think of the words, the right way to say it. So when you think of, an inbox collector, I'm not keeping new stuff. So I do keep some inbox. The inbox that I have, and again, I let all my plastic breathe, with the exception of if I like an action figure, there's not oftentimes a good place on the action figure itself to get an autograph by either the creator or the designer or any of that, right? So I do maintain some things. Like there's a local sculptor that visits my comic book shop that I go to, and he also is at a lot of the Comic Cons in the local area. So he's actually the one that designed was it Kazar? Is that the guy's name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the Tarzan looking dude, Kazar. Yeah. So like he designed Kazar, the sculpt of it. So he had that wave. He did a bunch of things in that wave, but he designed that one. So he had that at the show, and I snagged one of those. I have it out of box because I wanted to build the figure for the Sabretooth. But I also wanted to get his his autograph on it. So I thought it was a really cool figure, and I didn't realize that I had this really amazing, talented sculptor living like right in my backyard. Right. So I got that, and I keep it in the box. That's a modern figure with an autograph on it. I keep those in box. But if I buy something that's a recent figure, the figures aren't static statues anymore. They do so much. They pose. Like I can just sit here like I've been doing on and off, like with my plunderling, right? And I just kind of like move around a little bit, and just kind of fidget spinner him in my hand, moving him into different poses and stuff like that. So with the more modern stuff, you have so much articulation, so much detail. You got to kind of take, in my opinion, you got to take them out of the box. If I'm collecting some high valued figure, even if it's not high valued and it's an average value, 70s figure, 80s figure, whatever, some other figure from yesteryear, it's, in my opinion, the articulation's not there. The art typically wasn't as high end as it is today. It's not as detailed. The scans and such, the sculpts, not nearly as cool or crisp as they are today. What's the point of taking that old stuff out of the box? Is kind of my approach. So if you're into those, older stuff, maybe I can see why the older figures are collected in box and maintain that, and not even just for the idea that
a lot of it has to do with the nostalgia for like that kind of in-box collector, right? Like that old art, right? Like the art on the GI Joe Adventure Team boxes, I love it, right? Is it as high res as what you get nowadays? Definitely not. But I love it. So if I was going to have a bunch of that stuff in box, that's what I want it for, right? That vintage nostalgic tug that it gives me for that type of art.
Yeah, and that makes total sense.
Right. Nowadays, I mean, if there's a figure like say the Frazetta one by Savage Crucible, what's he called? The Barbarian or something? I can't remember.
Wait, which one was it?
The one that's Savage Crucible is doing. That's the Frazetta.
The ball and chain?
Yeah, the ball and chain. That's the one.
Yep.
Like if you want that because of the art and it's a Frazetta thing, because it's gonna have Frazetta art on it, that's something I would buy two of, right? Because I definitely want to take it out of the box, but it wouldn't be bad to have one in the box, right? So that kind of thing. There's very few figures that I'd buy two of just to keep one in the box, but that'd be one that I would do just because of that Frazetta art on there,
And that makes sense. And it's to each their own, right? We'll talk
Right.
more about that, but I think of some challenges, right? There's challenges of in a box collector, right? One, it's in the box, takes up a lot more space than throwing it on a stand and putting it on a shelf, or putting it in a Ziploc bag or whatever other collectible container that you use to maintain your stuff. Putting them on Hexastack, it's a lot easier, takes a lot less space, leveraging those modular display stands that I'm making. To display them that way. I like to display my stuff that way. I can grab them that way, look at them on display, or possibly put them on my desk and just kind of toy around with them. My son loves to come in my office, and take everything off my shelves and put them in. I have like those reusable grocery bags in here, and he'll grab them and kind of treat my office like it's a shopping cart. Grab those, disappear with them off to his room, and then I'm like, "Hey, did you put those things back?" He's like, "It's in the bag on the floor, Dad." And I'm like, "Great." And then I spend some time, displaying them on
the shelves.
Exactly. So, like, as an inbox collector, it's sure. Oh man, Fat Red, you're hurting me, buddy. Good one.
What a shot! What a shot!
I'll give you it. That's the premier modular stand that I've designed. So keep your eyes out. It's coming, brother. That said, the inbox collectors out there, how do you resist the urge to open up the toys that are in?
I don't. Most even I got my Frankenstein's creature. I think like last Wednesday or Thursday it was delivered, maybe Thursday. And we were waiting to open them up on the clubhouse together, and just that 2 days, is killing me. Okay,
it's like if a kid with money in his pocket, right?
Oh yeah, I'm no different than I was when I was 5. If I get an action figure at Walmart or Target or something, it's open before I get the car started when I get back.
That's how my son handles it.
Yeah.
As soon as we get him. What does ML and R mean?
I have no idea.
Much love, loyalty, honor, and respect. I got you. Same to you, Red. I got it. Okay. So then we're gonna go into the group that I fall into, right? Which hence the picture, right? Using a little bit of my master verse stuff, some AWOC, some Savage Crucible, and the place that Ed taught me you can play with your toys, right? Out in the woods.
Get them dirty.
So exactly. They didn't get too dirty out there, but folks that we want to talk about, unboxed collectors, right? These are the folks that open up the figures and love to display them outside of packaging, take them to the woods, set up arenas and photography shoots. Speaking of photography shoots, Toyvember, right? There's an opportunity to do that, right? So those out-of-box collectors or unboxed collectors, go ahead and take your figures out and display them. Many unboxed collectors focus on creating dynamic displays, custom backdrops, custom dioramas, action scenes. It's about, making and, the figures come to life, telling a story, right? You're given the opportunity to have this amazing piece of art, right? As this posable figure. And then it's taking that piece of art and, alluding to what you said earlier today, Ed, with the skeletons, you already have a vision of what you plan to do with that unboxed set of skeletons from Four Horsemen sometime next year, a specific spot and a scene you're going to do in the crick that I'm sure we'll see for photos. But you're making this idea and this picture come to life. Maybe you don't have the same skills that someone like a Quentin J. Bedwell has with drawing and writing, art, and I know I surely don't. My oldest son, he's a good artist, but I don't have that. I tell him ideas and then he tries to make them for me. But I'm nowhere near as talented as those. But I can take a piece of plastic that looks awesome and has been sculpted by some other amazing artist, and I can create the scene.
I love telling stories, dude. Right, and that's the whole
exactly.
point. I do in my action figures. Right, I can't draw. I can write pretty decently, but nothing compared to author or like my son. Right, he tells stories all the time with his stuff.
Right. But even so, right, like the telling that there's writing stories, and then there's the visual. I think a lot of people are visual digesters. They digest the visual, not just the text. There's some people that can read a story, and I can read stories, and I'm picturing the world in my own colors and my own design, but it's in my head. I'm much more
trying to translate that to somebody else, right? Like if you were to say, like you and I've had this conversation, I want to tell this story, right? And you've told me the story, and as being similar in thought process that we are, I get it, right? But if you were to tell, say, your wife, right, that story, she's going to look at you with the headlights like, whatever, dude. But if you showed her a picture, she's going to be like, oh, I get it now, right? Because it's that vision,
Exactly. So visual learners, visual consumers, having the ability to do the scenes and stuff is tremendously beneficial. So, for those that are out of box collectors, that's what it is, right? There's also the personal connection when you're handling the figures, fidget spinning them on your desk, whatever, posing them, interacting with them. You feel more involved with the collection.
Yeah.
Me when I've got the wrestlers and I'm banging those two pieces of plastic together, trying to tell that story in my mind when my kids and we're playing. Like, that's part of it, right?
I have the
You
same
could
thing
also,
like with books, right? Like I listen to audiobooks now just because my eyes are bad and I can't read as well anymore. But if I'm going to look at a comic book or actually read a book, I want that in my hands, just that physical interaction with it. And I feel the same way about the action figures. I like the physical interaction that I get. And don't clip that because that sounds kind of dirty, but I do like the physical interaction that it comes from, displaying them and posing them and translating that into the story that's in my crazy brain.
When you said that, you listen to audiobooks because you can't read as well anymore and you can't see with your eyes as well. All I could picture was, man, I need to have a soundbite that has that and like that soundbite that plays when you said it, and I was like, damn, should I go try to find one of these real quick to come back to?
Yeah.
But
just rub it in, Travis.
Exactly.
Just rub your young ass. I just turned 40 in. Okay. Come back to me in 10 years, buddy, and tell me how you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But going back, right? Like, there's a reason mass-produced figures exist, right? The Star Wars, Black Series, Marvel Legends, all that stuff, right? The reason that the boom in action figures happened in those, 70s and 80s with the Marvel, I'm sorry, not with Marvel, with the Star Wars figures and with the G.I. Joes was because it gave these kids this opportunity to expand the story that they saw on TV. Or, there's even my youngest son, for a long time, like, he would literally put the television on and watch some of his cartoons or whatever it might be, right? The shows, but he would go grab the toys of that show and he would play that out in front of him with that. So, it's that you can't do that when the stuff's in box, right? It's don't touch that stuff. That's the inbox stuff. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. So,
that's the thing, like with, with toys that are representative of like mass media, like I get the guys that want to collect Star Wars figures because of their love of Star Wars and their love of that story. And they just want to display it on their shelf in a box with the artwork. But I also get the guy that wants to take out his Han Solo and Chewbacca and replay the scene of them running down the Death Star corridor, right, to escape the stormtroopers, right? So I get both sides of it, but
absolutely,
I'm definitely more unbox and get it dirty.
Yeah, 100%, right? But hey, as we talked about challenges with the inbox collectors, there's some challenges being an out of box collector. As soon as you take it out of the box, it loses value, reduces its resale value significantly. And then you also got to deal with storage and maintenance, dusting.
What the hell do you do with the 8 different hands and the 7 different swords that the figure can't hold at that time?
Slide them in the accessory case that the Hexastack stands come with. That's what I would do. And you too will be able to do that soon. You too will be able to do that soon.
I don't know. I don't think that Elric sword's fitting in any of your Hexastacks unless you're building like a 6-inch one.
It might fit not in the stands, but it might fit on the weapons rack that you can use with the stands.
Yeah, that's right.
So there are options. There are options for sure. And, some head racks too that will be available too. So definitely, that modular expansion for sure. But again, how do you keep them so they don't in the sunlight getting damaged, right? Because the sun is poison to these plastic figures.
Yes.
So, how do you do it? In the package, it still can be, targeted in the package. I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
Package figures just as bad.
Exactly.
As open ones.
But when you have them open and you're taking them outside and doing that stuff, it's more exposure than maybe somebody who leaves them in the dark, room without the UV light and stuff like that. So before we move on to the next slide, I do want to do this. I want to go out there to the audience and I'll say, hey, and we'll touch base on a lot of these questions towards the end as we wrap up, but just kind of posing these questions as we go through. For you unbox collectors, you folks that like to let your plastic breathe, how do you maintain your figures? What do you do to ensure that they don't, deteriorate as fast as they could? And how do you keep them in top condition so that they maintain the value to you? Or maybe the value to you simply is being able to use them and do whatever you want with them. And maybe that's the case, but share with us exactly how you handle that.
That's kind of a thing, right? Like you also got the guys that collect that will, like Lawrence, right? Lawrence has a real hard time, Punk has a real hard time separating with the toys that he buys, right? So he'll buy a figure, and even if he's not really into that line, he has a really hard time separating himself from that line, whether he's giving it to somebody or selling it, to make space, right? I have always been the type of guy that will get a figure, and there's some that I'll never sell, right? But there's also some that I've bought, taken my pictures, told my story and my photography, and then just sold the figures off so somebody else can enjoy it, And
that's an interesting approach to me, Ed, and I think that's a conversation in and of itself that I'd love to have sometime on the show, because to me, like, you've always said that, right? You get some stuff, you move some stuff, you get some new stuff, you take your photos, you use it for what you wanted in the moment, but you kind of move on relatively quickly. Considering, right? And to me, I've always been like, I don't know if it's impressed is the word. It would be more like intrigued by that, because I don't know that I can sell things. When I got into the wrestling figures so heavily that I had duplicates and duplicates and duplicates because they had a different outfit or a different, gear set or whatever, I would get duplicates. Well, during COVID, the price value on a lot of those things like started shooting through the roof because people were collecting. And I decided, well, I'm going to pick my favorite, gear per figure, the one that defines that figure to me, and I'm going to move all my duplicates. And I let my son look and say if there's certain characters that he liked multiples of, we kept those. But I did move a large percentage of them. And I didn't have this attachment to them that I was concerned with. But like right now, I have all these Joes, and I'll talk a little bit about something Fat Red asked earlier with the 118th. I'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But, I have all these 118 figures. I have some Joe and Valiverse stuff, and I'm not quite sure I want to maintain them because I am so vested into some of this fantasy stuff and like the Plunderlings and things that aren't so much Joe and real world specific. So I'm not committed to needing to keep those, like you may say, like Punk is, but I'm also not like churn and burn. Because I don't buy things with this like idea to take a certain picture. I buy stuff because I'm like, oh, that'll fit into my world somewhere. And I'm also the type of person who's like, if that's what I'm focused on, I want to be able to go into a drawer and pull that out at any given time. Like, oh, I want to recreate this or do this with it.
It does create that problem. I will admit that there's been figures that I'm like, yeah, I can sell these off. And then 6 months will go by and I'll get another figure that I'm like, yeah, I'll take this, tell this story. And I'm like, damn, if I only had that Valiverse dude that Joe figure that I sold. Right?
Exactly.
It does happen, but I work around it. So
yeah.
There's been times that I've actually rebought figures that I've sold. I try to go out and find them loose, like I sold them loose, And,
yep. And going into the next one here, because there's two other pieces I kind of want to cover on, because there's collectors, right? Different types of collectors. We talked about your inbox, your out of box. There's also mass market collectors, right? These are the ones that focus on your mainstream, your mainline stuff, the stuff that Punk talks about on Monday nights for 3 hours, right? Your Marvel Legends, your Star Wars, your Joes. You might even waste some time on McFarlane's and Super 7, but those are all your mass produced stuff. They're, largely in part, they're considered more affordable, accessible and ready to the general population because you don't have to know about a Kickstarter or Valiverse or Four Horsemen, or you don't have to be in the media, the online, community trying to find that. It's, just ready there at Walmart or Target when you go in the store. Yeah. So, those are those, these do, some of them have, a good amount of detail. You have your Legends have some decent details, some, not as much as others, where some have better. But largely in part, these are more your, I don't want to say generic, but they're your standard delivery figures, right? They're probably a lower price point because they're mass produced as opposed to that. So,
most of the stuff you find in mass market, right, is not that they're any less quality, because Marvel Legends are quality figures. I would say they end up being more recognizable, would be the best way to put it, right? Those are figures you walk down the aisle, it's Batman, it's He-Man, it's G.I.
exactly,
it's Spider-Man, whoever it is.
Yep. Right. It jumps out to anyone walking down an aisle, right? You don't have to, you're not going looking for it. It's right there for you. And that's the idea. It catches the eye. That's why when Marvel Legends come out, they have a 6-wave figure set, 1 or 2 of those, maybe even 3 of those figures are your Iron Mans, your Spider-Mans, your, Thors, they're the key main stars, right? The folks that everybody knows by name. And then they sprinkle in a touch of some other ones to cover, your more, sought after kind of rare figures, right? Things like that. Mass market figures, they're, perfect for army building, because again, they're oftentimes a little bit more cheap. Think of stormtroopers, right? So army building for stormtroopers, you can grab multiple of them from the Black Series without breaking the bank, because you could oftentimes find them at Ollie's. You're not finding that in independent
Oh, yeah.
toy lines, right? You can find them at Ollie's, or you can find them in the discount rack because they've sit there and floated for quite a while.
Yeah, you know, most of the time, those types of army builders in the mass market section, there's more stormtroopers in a case than
Yep.
the Han
Short
Solo and general gear or whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, it's that short packing aspect, right?
Yeah.
There's a 6 series wave set. There's 8 figures in the box, and 2 of them, 2 figures are commonly distributed with an extra couple figures, right? That's how it works typically. Maybe there's 5 figures and 5 other ones. You oftentimes will have one that's short packed. It's just 1 figure per box.
Yep.
Sometimes it's the Chase figures and the Mattel Rustling ones, things like that, right? Some of the challenges with mass produced ones, is quality control, right? It's being done at a large factory at a much higher throughput than some of these smaller toy lines, and you might end up losing some of the paint app because of weird placement of them on joints and such like that, things like that. And then you can also have a problem collecting too many figures. That's one of the reasons I think I've started to shift away from the Joe and Valiverse. Not that Valiverse was delivering so many, unique figures over time, but because I collected Valiverse, I also collected the Joes, and together it's a large amount of type of figures to get. It's even difficult, handling things with like the Savage and the AWOC and now Brutal and those types of things, and the select Horseman ones that I want. But when you get into mainstream, you can get into the Joe situation where it felt like, honestly, it felt like there were 100 of figures getting dropped every month. It felt like. So
yeah, I mean, I think Joe's up to like 100, or like their numbered figures are in like the 160s or 170s now, right? And
it's crazy.
Several small vehicles, and they got they got the retro carded line now, which is another 4 figures every quarter or half year, whatever it is, they're releasing those, and it ends up. It adds up quick, right? And then of course they have,
even at a cheaper price point for those figures by a few bucks. But again, Joe, not only did they start producing more, they also started coming out with the different tiers, right? You had your like $25, $30 figures, your $35 to $40, your $45 to $50, and then even the larger, right? Your $100 vehicles, things like that. It can break the bank if you're not careful. So when you're dealing with those mass market collectors, they can run into those issues. And then additionally, if you're a person who's collecting for any resale, those mass market figures, unless you hit the right one that was short packed and highly sought after because nobody got it and they end up in a dump and a fill somewhere, you're likely not going to see a tremendous return on your investment in modern day mass market figures.
Right.
4 Horsemen being a smaller independent line, they relatively maintain their value regardless, right? Because of how their distribution works and how their releases come. I expect similarity with the Savage Crucible, as they've announced that they won't duplicate the same figure. If you got, the Lemurian Savage, you're not getting the same one again. So the value should hopefully maintain. You're not going to get that. And even like the WWE and Mattel figures and the Marvels and things like that, when they see that there's something that has like a higher level of resale value, they start to do it. I know that Bill McKenna and those guys over at Mattel with the WWE figures very much so do that, because they do that with a lot of the WWE figures that were like higher sought after figures earlier in the series. When they can renegotiate and get the license to produce another Legends figure, they'll do a re-release of some of their earlier releases, maybe tweaked slightly, but again, a re-release, and it completely nerfs the value of those figures that at one point in time carried a pretty high turn. So always a problem when you're getting into those mass market. The next one I'm going to jump to, I guess I'm sorry, let me go back one on here. One of the things I wanted to kind of call out was for those that are more mass market collectors, how do you organize your figures? Do you prefer collecting specific characters or completing entire waves? Or do you even focus on in like a Legends world? Do you try to build the squads? Do you try to build the Avengers? Do you try to build the West Coast Avengers? Do you build it out that way, or do you handle it a little differently? Be interested to hear how those folks handle it. And then, I won't spend too much time on this, but there's also folks that just customize and mod. They're just collecting them for, kit bashing and such. I'm sure, without being as close to the 4 Horsemen group, and folks in the Cabal and stuff, I truly believe there's a large percentage of people that get into 4 Horsemen just from the customization aspect. They're not even necessarily tied into the 4 Horsemen lore, the Mythic Legions lore, or any of that, but the fact that it's so open and available to do customization and mods, kit bashing, etc.
The 4 Horsemen did it right though, because they gave their lore was so I don't want to say basic because it was thought out for sure, but it wasn't defined as well as some of the other lore, right? So they gave like an overarching story, and then the customizers can fit all of their own lore within that umbrella, you know. So they did it a really cool way because that opened up, you know, I can collect this character, but I can also make a custom character that fits along with this character and still fits into that lore, because they didn't, you know, go so specific with it that it made it so it's like, you know, Han Solo has to be Han Solo, you know. It's like it's you know, this guy is this character's name, but you know, this character has this basic story and you get to tell the rest, you know.
Yep. No, I mean, and that makes sense, right? You know, for someone who wants to create their own lore and their own head canon, right? So that allows that.
Well, kind of the same thing, right? They gave an overarching umbrella story. AWOC kind of did, right? But
yeah,
AWOC went a little farther with the character development than some of the other stuff.
Right. And you know, the customizers, you know, they're an out of box collector, right? But they, you know, they might take it even a step further, because I've seen, and I'm sure as you have those customizers that not only customize the figure, but they even go as far as creating a custom packaging for it to display it in box, right? I think there might be somebody I know that's working on one of those right now, right? And you know, if that's the case, I can't wait to see what that looks like. But you know, the customizers, you know, they're taking their time. They're taking it out of the box. Obviously, they're doing their modifications. They're creating a one of a kind, you know, superhero or villain or whatever it might be, you know, to tie into the, you know, lore or canon that they're trying to develop. Or maybe it's a figure that never came out by Marvel or the WWE, right? So, you know, when you get these customizations, you know, it gives people an opportunity to have a unique. And I know that a lot of people do commissions for that stuff too, and that can get very expensive. It's its own piece of it's a niche within the side of the niche, right?
Yep.
So it's a pretty cool. So I'm sure we probably have some customizers in the chat, right? So you know, if you are any other customizer out there, you know, share with us. You know, are you an out of box collector of customized figures, or do you like to customize and put them back in a box?
So this this comment by Joe just made me laugh, because Joe is definitely a 4-H completist, but he does amazing custom work also. And just the fact that he says he might buy a few extras makes me laugh.
Which, again, Joe will be the 1,000 swigs.
Yeah, Joe does some awesome customs. So if you want to see some awesome customs and some 4-H figures, go over and check out Joe on IG.
Yeah. So kind of in closing, we always like to come back. It doesn't matter, right? Like we did size matters last time and things like that, right? Or, you know, and that approach, right? Doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. You know, the only thing that matters is that you enjoy what you enjoy.
That's right. You got to make yourself
keep
happy,
moving forward,
whatever that
right?
is. Exactly.
If your happiness is, you know, taking your stuff outside in the mud and getting it dirty, go for it. If your happiness is leaving that in the box of you know, pristine collection, and you want to put it in like a box insert for your figures, because they sell those too, right? You know, they sell those cases. I put, you know, all the ones that I've gotten autographed in a case, so that way that's a little bit more protected. Yep. You know, go for that. But if you like to unbox them and let that plastic breathe, I say do it. Let that plastic breathe. And for those that are questioning whether or not, I don't want to take it outside, I don't want to get it in the dirt, let this guy right here encourage you, not Mr. Wonderful, but the guy below Mr. Wonderful. Let him encourage you to expand your horizons and get that stuff out in the dirt, because I was very anti take my stuff outside. And I did that this past year with my youngest son. And it was so much fun just packing stuff up, going out in the yard. You know, if you don't have a big yard or you don't have property to do it on, take it, go to a creek like Ed does, you know, and in a park or a state park, you know, enjoy, you know, that area. Who cares when anybody thinks? Heck, do what Punk did. Go out
DJ
to
says he
Disney
throws
World.
away the figs and plays with the boxes.
That's
a collecting type we did not cover in this show, but if you're out there, more power to you.
Well, actually, no. I want to cover that one for another second here. DJ 5K, if that's what you do, let me know. Message me on Instagram, and I will provide you a self-addressed stamped box. You know, for anywhere between 5 to 10 pounds, and you can keep your boxes, and you can throw all that plastic junk you're throwing away and send it to me.
Your boxes for his figures.
Yeah, you send that box to me, I'll send a box back to you with more boxes.
Right.
And it can be beneficial to both of us. You can have the cardboard, and I can have the plastic.
That's right.
But yeah, you know, for those in the chat, right, and that are still with us, we appreciate you guys. Let us know what you think about, what kind of collector you are.
We have a bunch of
are you
comments
one
in
of
there about
many?
paper collectors.
Awesome. Are you, and we'll start to pull those up, but every collector, every type of collector contributes something unique to this brotherhood, this community, right? So, at the end of the day, embrace your style, enjoy your collection, and remember, the only thing that matters is that you and you alone is having fun.
That's right.
So
That's the thing,
enjoy
right?
it.
Like we have a lot of people that say, oh, well, you got to collect this, you got to collect that. Collect what you love and enjoy what other people love through them. I mean, Brick is just said, I think this past week on Clubhouse, or maybe it was during our coffee clatch in the morning. But he loves all sorts of figures, but he knows he can't buy them for space and money reasons, and he loves to see other people's collections and just loves what things that he loves through them, right? That's awesome, right? And it's just a great way to think about it, right? Just collect
Absolutely.
what you like, whatever way you want to collect it, and just be happy with your collection and admire other people's collections. Don't tell anybody else how to do it.
Exactly. Well, except for when I tell you to take it out of the box.
Right.
You
Unless I
should
tell
let
you to
it
throw it in
breathe.
the dirt and take it in the creek. I mean, that's definitely
Yeah.
a must, right? I mean,
And while we're grabbing those last few questions before we pull those up on the screen, I just want to cover this thing that we stumbled across. This completely unique and original idea, as I previously spoke to, that was never inspired by Inktober and was a complete idea of my own. And yes, it was an idea based off Inktober. And as I alluded to before, I guess there's some other guys that have been trying to do this for a few years. They call it like October or something like that.
Yeah.
Just doesn't sound the same and as cool as Toyvember. So that's like the development league to what we get to in November. So go back out, check us out on Instagram, click on the link, type the link in, sign up for it, pre-register to take part in Toyvember, and have the opportunity. It's like I said, it's a
and it
month-long
doesn't matter what
photography
type
challenge.
of photographer you are, right? You could be an amateur, you could be a pro.
Yeah.
This is all going to be the contest. The prizes are not going to be awarded to just the best things, right? There's daily, challenges that you have to meet. So there's going to be,
there's a
points
daily
awarded
prompt
for sticking to the prompt, no matter how good your picture
Yep.
is or whatever.
Well,
right?
you get points for pre-registering, right, Ed? So,
Right. Yep.
Pre-registering right off the bat gets you a bucket of points that for those that don't find out until November and jump in then, they're not going to have. So you get a head start just by pre-registering. And then there's points given out you get a point every day for participating. That is in 2024 what we refer to as participation trophy. So you get the participation trophy point every single day that you post a photo for that prompt. It's your perception and your approach to that prompt. As long as you find a way to tie it into that prompt, you're going to get credit for it. But there are also judges, which we will continue to announce. I am one, Ed is another. We're also judges. We're judges, but we're also going to be participants, which means we can judge ourselves and win.
This guy's killing me today. Can he enter you can enter your box picture, sure.
If you can find a way, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure with those prompts, you could take a toy and use that box to come up with some item. Brick, the way to pre-register is there's a post on our Instagram with the link for the Google form to fill out. All you got to do is share your Instagram name in there so that we know who's pre-registered. You're going to get a bonus point so we can keep track of it. We will have judges who are given a certain allotment of points for the entire month of Toyvember, and based on the posts that are made daily for each person, they're able to give a set of points to them. I'm selected members of what I would refer to as the ToyLeet Inner Circle to take part in the judging of these. Some people are folks that would give extra points based on style, critique, lighting, how close to the prompt you were. But highly articulated. How come you got to go out here and blow up our spot, man? I mean, you blew up our spot for the ToyLeet Bowl, kind of like you did when you used the toilet last time. No, with all seriousness, we haven't announced the prizes, but we definitely have some really cool prizes that we're going to be, having there. There might be some previously released figure obscuras, some Cosmic Legions, some other things, some gift cards to certain dope websites that the ToyLeet is deciding to put in there. So there's definitely some opportunities to win stuff just in time for the holidays. So it's either something you can give to a friend or things like that. But again, some of the
Wrap it up
judges
and
will
give it to yourself.
exactly give it to yourself. I'm all for giving myself gifts. That's the way I
Right.
like to do it. But you know, if you have the opportunity to take part, you earn points. The judges, maybe they're more, you know, maybe there's me. I like a good laugh. Maybe if you find a way to take that photo and add a little humor to that photo, you know, nothing says you can't put text in it. So, you know, make it like a comic reel, you know, do it as you want. Make it as a story that goes 30 days. Make it as individual one-offs that are completely unique from one another that meet the prompt. Do it how you want, have fun with it, enhance your photography skill, take your phone, take your old Polaroid, scan that picture into a scanner that's under your computer somehow, and then post it on the Instagram from your dial-up connection at 56K, you know, that you downloaded off LimeWire. Do what you want with it. I don't
Get your
care.
Net Zero cards loaded up.
Exactly. And if it doesn't say you got mail when you post it, you totally missed out. But no, have fun with it, enhance your skill, just have fun, challenge yourself with something different, and have a chance to win prizes, and more importantly, bring the brotherhood together, the sisterhood together, bring everybody in the community together, doing one thing for fun. That's all it is.
Spread
Have
the
it laugh.
news. You know, we got the initial Toyvember announcement put up on the IG, so go ahead and over there and share it around. And you guys know people that like to take pictures and post them up. Let them know. Tell them to come on in and pre-register. Like I said, if you need a link, just message the ToyLeet and we'll send you the link.
And I'll also edit this video description to include the link after we wrap up tonight.
Yeah.
So that you can come back to this video in the link description, click on that Google form and go pre-register prior to November 1st to get those bonus points that you'll get. And everybody that pre-registers is eligible for those bonus points. And then all you got to do is, you know, post every day. So I spent quite a bit on the Toyvember. I really want to champion it. It's really, I'm really excited for it. I know it's not original because we found others that do it, but I think we're part of a really cool community that supports one another and wants to see everyone grow. And let's get some cool photos out there for the month of November, and you know, give everybody a chance to win some cool stuff.
Like I said, don't be afraid. No matter if you're a good photographer or you don't like your photography, don't be afraid to join. Just have fun with it. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, somebody reached out to me and said that they want to give this a shot. They're not really sure how to do it. And I told them, I said, have a ball with it. I don't, take the pictures, you might fall, but get up and try again the next day. Yeah. So,
and the prompts are going to be simple, right? It's like falling. So, I mean, it's just going to be, take a picture of your figure falling off a shelf. It doesn't have to be thought out. It just,
absolutely.
Or it can be really involved. That's up to you, right? The prompts are going to be fun to, see everybody's interpretations of. So,
exactly. So
we got a lot of guys in the chat that have made some.
Let's hit those questions up. I'll leave this, or I'll switch back to this for now.
No, leave that up. Let everybody
okay.
We'll leave that up while we're going through this.
Awesome.
Nolan says he cherry picks and opens up about 99% of the stuff. He doesn't do the superpowers because they look good on the card. Plus 7 POS isn't very posable anyway. I agree with that, right? That's something that's kind of nostalgic, and you can just kind of leave it on the card. It looks good, and yeah, 7 point of articulation isn't really worth opening unless you're going to display it in one of the vehicles.
Yeah, I mean that aligns with what I was saying with the older stuff, right? The retro stuff.
Exactly, absolutely. And Fat Red Foo says he's a discount bin Sid collector. That's because he just customizes spider babies and stuff like that out of his toys.
That's awesome.
Harry O, he's a lack of self-control type collector. Yeah, we have quite a few of those. 2 of them sitting on this show right now. So
exactly.
Lunchbox Killer says some things I keep in package and some he opens them sons of bitches up. Yeah, I think a lot of us are kind of mid-range. Open up most of it and definitely keep some stuff in the box depending on what it is. He collects loose, but has a hard time opening up Figure Obscura. The packaging is great with Figure Obscura. The artwork that Nate March puts out there is just incredible.
Yeah, it's not even just the artwork; it's the entire packaging. I've only had, I think, 1 or 2 of the Figure Obscuras, and when I've opened it, it's got it almost reminds me of opening an iPhone. The box is so tight; it's got the folds and creases.
Beautiful.
It's got that very high-end approach to it, so I can see why someone might not want to. I think. So I have the Red Death, I think is what it is.
Yep.
The original release of that, which maybe I didn't open that one, but that may be one of the. I think I have that still somewhere around here. somewhere. I don't know. I think I have it. And that may be one of the, prizes, that Toy Member has. But I did open the Santa Claus one last year, and that's one that I kept the packaging for because I take it out for Christmas every year. Well, last year's the first year.
Makes a great Christmas display.
It goes right on the bookshelf in the living room next to the Christmas tree every year.
Yeah.
Starting last year.
And Briscoe, so we're talking about some of the old packaging. Old mask boxes are awesome, as well as the old Starcom and Air Raiders boxes. Artwork on that was awesome. Joe G, he displays a couple figures in the box are his 4-H con exclusives. So he gets 2 of those. We can open one and display one. That's a good way to do it. And of course, we have this guy here. What's Huck's stack? I tell you, this guy. DJ 5000 says scenes and stories are his jam. Definitely love the scenes and the stories. And speaking of scenes, this guy here, Random Diorama, jumped in. He builds some awesome scenes.
Amazing ones.
Dioramas and action figures consume my man cave. I have the same. I have a whole house, a trailer that has 3 bedrooms that are just full of action figures, along with the living room that are all action figures and dioramas. So I have my own man cave that's big that is consumed by action figures. All sorts of clippable stuff tonight. Yes, Brick, there's all sorts of clippable stuff. I'll be hearing about that later, I'm sure. Briscoe says, I don't buy things at tier 8. That's how I stop things from deteriorating. He definitely buys some high-end stuff, though. He's a Hot Toys and, scale collector and stuff like that. So some stuff I just have to give away. Toys for Tots can't get here fast enough. Speaking of Toys for Tots, don't forget to join us on Punk with Toys later on this month at the last weekend of this month for Lawrence's Toys for Tots 36-hour streamathon, which will have some of us doing different things on there. So, and Fat Rafu says he posted my avatar on IG. He made a custom figure of me to go in his Numa City diorama that he built. So I'm pretty honored to have that there. I'll be checking that out when we're done here. Fat Red, thank you. Started getting more into McFarlane, keeping it mainly non-meta humans. Otherwise, it's too much. McFarlane puts out an ass load of figures, dude. All the time there's new McFarlanes coming out. This is what we talked about. Not a fan of customizing, but I can appreciate it. I love doing it all, man. Customizing and everything. And Brick says those need some finasteride to grow their hair back. No, they just need a little bit of touch from Ed with his flocking love. His love for flocking head. And right here is my type of collecting. That's right, Brick. We love you, brother. And I think I got a couple more starred, and then we're caught up. Definitely breaks my heart to throw away great looking packaging. It's tough. When I was getting ready to move to Ohio at the end of last year, I looked at my one closet, and the whole top shelf was just boxes. And I think I threw out like 2 55-gallon garbage bags of just packaging, and it was like so hard for me. I was like, ooh, I really like this box. I don't want to keep it. I'm like, but what am I going to do with it? I was moving to this tiny little, 1-bedroom apartment. And I was like, I can't take it with me. And my parents will not like that stored at their house for however.
Yep.
And I'm getting thrown out, but it was tough. It was tough to make that decision because some of the artwork was just incredible. And then just pretending to be a toy tuber. I think Fat Red said something. Brick, you saving for a rainy day? He's like, nah, just pretending to be a toy tuber. And
we know, Brick, you're a rock star.
That's
and,
right.
You put
Brick,
together
yes,
one
you
of
are
the
amazing.
Top shows.
Much respect to you, brother, as Fat Red says here. So
Absolutely.
That's it for the chat, brother. So we are good to go.
Deal.
You want to play us out? Tell everybody thank you and love you all.
Yeah, well, real quick before we do that, we've got the plans for next week, right? So again, remember ToyVember, go pre-register. And then next week we have the ToyLeet Takeover, the evolution of toy packaging from boxes to blisters. So hey, this seems like it's right down DJ 5K's lane. So come back next week and listen to us talk about the boxes and blisters that DJ
tell us what
5K
boxes you like to play with best.
Exactly. So we'll talk about how we've gone from where it was to where it is, and get folks to chime in, and we'll probably talk a little bit about box art while we do that. So that's what we got going on next week. We appreciate everyone that is tuned in. And real quick before we run it out of here, what do we have going on this week?
We got the usual stuff going on. We got Thursday with a friend on Thursday night with Punk And Rad Dom's got his show on Friday night, late at night. If you guys want to talk about dioramas or like to come out and hang out with a chill group of people, late night Friday night on Random Diorama channel. He usually starts around 11:30 Eastern time, somewhere in that area on his channel. Really cool stream. He just builds some stuff, paints some stuff, and we all just kind of hang out, get some tips on building and painting and stuff like that, and share your ideas. And then Saturday night, I will be hosting the Clubhouse on this channel. So, oh, wait a minute. This guy just showed up.
Comes the money.
This guy.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Yeah. About time, Punk. Thanks for showing up, brother. We appreciate it. I was actually wondering if you might slide in at the very end. I actually had that ready queued up just in case you did.
Yeah. And Saturday night, I'll be hosting the Clubhouse. Oz might still be in there for a little while, but he's starting to feel a little under the weather with the cold, he thinks, so he might not. He doesn't want to commit to doing something. He might not be able to hang for the whole night. And then Sunday night, Hella Dope Toys on their channel, 9 p.m. And then, of course, Punk, and then back here on next Tuesday. What about you, brother?
At some point, Aaron will reach out to me, and our schedules will connect, and we will talk some pro wrestling. You know what the ratings draw that it is on all of YouTube, and we will get that 1-2 kick out podcast up and running. But in the meantime, I'll be floating in and out of streams, checking out some of my favorites like A Brick with Toys, Highly Articulated, A Punk with Toys.
A Brick with Toys, huh?
Did I say A Brick with Toys?
Yeah, you know, Brick's going to get a copyright strike from Punk, you know.
Jeez.
Starting that drama up. Gotta
Brick something, Punk with Toys, Highly Articulated. There's a number of other folks I've been checking out.
We got a great group of people, man. We got a great group.
Yeah, absolutely. This it's an awesome brotherhood out there. You know, that ToyLeet or the toy community that we have, the brotherhood. It's good stuff. So I'll be in and out. You guys will see me. I'll see you guys in the chats, I'm sure.
Yeah. Go sign up for Toyvember.
Toyvember, and I'll leave you with this, as I have been the last several weeks. What was it? Oh, it's Stay Wonderful.
Now, but remember this. Let your toys breathe. Do this. Toys on the desk. It's the new habitat. ToyLeet Takeover. We're loving that. It's a step high in the air where it's at. Everywhere's a playground for Mr. Wonderful. In the office, living room, let them breathe. Action Figs hit the trail through the mud and undersell. It's the ToyLeet life beyond the shelf we prepare. Figures and cents in perfect place with Texas that we own the space. From battle seeds to epic quest.